Whither shall I follow, follow, follow? Whither shall I follow, follow thee? To the greenwood, to the greenwood, to the greenwood, greenwood tree. Welcome back. It's been a little while since we got together. Life kind of got in the way. Everybody's fine and COVID-free, so no worries there. I'm going to teach you my absolute favorite cast-on of all time, which is not actually a cast-on, it's actually knitting on. So let's learn how, and then we can get to the project. To the greenwood, to the greenwood, to the greenwood, greenwood tree. We're going to find our end, and this time, instead of doing a long tail cast-on, we're going to do something different. These are the tips of my size 8 circulars once more. Let me get this out of the way. And let's talk about the tail. I like leaving about a 4 or 5 inch tail, making my slip knot like we usually do. Let me grab a needle, which ironically matches the yarn exactly, making it just that much easier for you to see. Hang on to your tail, because this is going to want to spin around. So I like to put my finger back here so that the knot presses against it and doesn't go sliding around too far. We're going to wiggle our way in here, and we're going to hang on to the knot, work this like a regular knit. So over the top, pop it through. Now, normally we would take this part, this loop, and push it off, the old one. We want to add stitches on, so we're going to leave it on, and we're just going to fold the left needle into the loop that's been created. Now we've got a normal size stitch and a really big one. Leave it like that for a second. We're going to put the tip of the needle through and tighten. And now we have 2 stitches on there. Stay in there, you're ready to go. Knit, pull it up, just swing it around, don't twist it, just swing it around and let the left needle fold right in. You can tighten it like this onto the needle, but you might have trouble getting in here. You have to really work it, and you can split your yarn. So, as much as, yeah, it's possible. Maybe. There we go. But for me, it's a little more fiddly. So, I like to knit my stitch. Oh, see, something. It split. Knit my stitch. There it goes. And just guide the left needle down into the loop. Hang on to it so it doesn't go anywhere. And now set my right needle up ahead of time before I pull. Once you kind of get the swing of it, you can go pretty fast. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And when you pull it, just snug. You'll feel it sort of just close up. You don't have to pull it tight. As a matter of fact, don't pull it really tight. 14. 15. Yeah, you might have to chase these big loops a little bit, and you can tighten up, to a reasonable size before you put your needle through. There's 15. Okay, so now when I pull out, you're going to notice that this end loop is always, let's see if I can get a little closer, it's always a little funny. It kind of holds on a tilt, a little slanted. That's okay. That's because there's no stitch on the other side to straighten them up. But once we start working them, it'll straighten out, promise. So now let's say we have our full cast on, and if I stretch them out, you can see that my tension on the cast on is very even. We're going to do a few rows of stockinette, knit on. Okay, let's take a look at our sides here. This one looks like this. This one looks like that. See the pearl bumps? So we know we want the pearl on this side. We're going to knit on this side and pearl on the other. The stitches are still going to feel like cast-ons, so they're a little wonky from how they'll feel as we're further into the work. Okay, when we turn, don't catch your tail. And now we pearl. There we go. We're getting into some lighter colors now, so. Flip it over. We're going to do our thing. Shall I follow tree to the greenwood, to the greenwood, to shall I follow tree to the greenwood, follow shall I follow tree to the follow shall I follow tree. For this project, we're going to take our inspiration from Mickie Mueller's Oracle deck, The Voice of the Trees. The Voice of the Trees refers to the Ogham. If I zoom in on this warrior maiden's shield, you can see the marks on her shield. The Ogham, kind of like runes, has been simply called the Druid's alphabet. Yeah, it is, but it's also much more. We'll kind of take a glance at a few of them. So here we have our card for inspiration. It is Hazel, Cull, that's the tree you see in the background, and we see the salmon jumping up out of the water to try to catch a hazelnut. If you look closely at the salmon, you'll notice it has 8 spots, and it wants the 9th. The 9th is the magical one that will impart the wisdom. Over in the bottom right corner, we see the Ogham for Hazel, for Cull. And for me, the light gray is going to represent stones. In the tradition I follow, I do use a Celtic archetype, the Isle of Avalon. And if you know anything about it, there are corresponding sacred sites in Glastonbury. I do believe that atop the Glastonbury Tor, there were once standing stones, and that is where the priestesses went. That was their sacred space. If you're not exactly sure how many stitches to cast on, check your label. There's usually a little square like this, and the information that it gives us is that a 4-inch, 4x4-inch, or 10x10 centimeter square will take us 15 stitches across and 22 rows up and down. We can see inside the square they are telling us that that is using a size 8, a US 8, or 5 millimeter, which is the same needle. And you can see the 2 crossed knitting needles. If you look over at the crochet hook, you'll notice it's also 5 millimeter or an 8H. We're going to stick here. So if we do some math, and I'm not so great at it, so I am not about to figure out how to divide 15 by 4. I want to know how many stitches it takes for me to get 1 inch. If I make this 16 inches or 16 stitches, it's way easier. 16 divided by 4, even I can do that, is 4 stitches. So I want 9 inches across. 4 times 9 is 36. Slipknot is on, and as we start, take 3 deep breaths and enter into the realm of the card. As you enter the realm, we're walking for a little ways in a wooded area, and we come to a small stream. And at the small stream, we meet a salmon. And the salmon is so intent on trying to catch a hazelnut. And every once in a while, one falls in the water, and he jumps and splashes over there, and he is working really hard. So greet him, then, and ask if you can help. Is there anything you can do? Why are you trying to catch this hazelnut? Maybe I can be of some service to you. Explain that you're a seeker and what you're doing. And the salmon is curious. And as you're working, as you're casting on your stitches, the salmon gets intrigued and decides to take a little rest from hunting down the falling hazelnuts and comes to rest by the far shore. Can I join you? Well, the salmon says, a few steps up the stream, there are 9 stepping stones across. If you walk carefully, you'll come to my side of the stream, the magical side. So with that invitation, you take a few steps upstream, and sure enough, there are 9 flat but wet stones that form a bit of a path across the waters. So very carefully, you step on the first stone, and it holds your weight. It's solid, not too far away. You take a step, the second stone. Now you're gaining some confidence. The third stone, fourth stone, the fifth stone. Here you pause for a moment and discover that you are directly in the middle of this little stream. There's the salmon, and they urge you on. Come on. So you take the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th stone. With your 10th step, you have crossed the 9 stones into the other world. Now you walk downstream a few steps to meet the salmon. By now, the salmon looks a little different. Something has changed in the time it took you to cross those 9 stones. What could it be, salmon? Count my spots, they say proudly. 9. The salmon has gained its 9th spot. He caught that 9th hazelnut, and now he has his wisdom. So while we continue to talk to our friend the salmon, we're going to work on the first section of the bag, and this is done in garter stitch. So garter stitch, if you remember, is knit on both sides. So you'll get that texture that'll support the top edge and also the bottom of the bag when we come back to it. So work until this section is 2 inches long. If you have to take some time or do this in more than one session, don't forget to thank the salmon, ask if you can return, and step back over the 9 stones. Here, in a card from the Druid Animal Oracle, we see the salmon again, Bratan, again leaping for a hazelnut. He is, according to the Celts, the oldest animal, and he does offer us wisdom and inspiration. So we are in complete tandem between the 2 cards. How do we find this wisdom? Bratan invites us to journey back to our beginnings, our own beginnings, and the beginnings of whatever quest we're on here. We have a couple of quests right now. First, to create the bag, but what happens after it's created? Every time we open it, our sacred tools will be inside. And most times, they are the beginnings of us seeking some sort of wisdom, an answer, an insight, a solution. Just that time alone with our thoughts, opening up to see what messages the universe, the one, the goddess, the god, however you want to look at it, what messages from the divine can we get on this particular journey? You might find that you have an ally in the salmon, and you know they like hazelnuts. So look around you and see if you find any. Some may lay on the ground where the salmon can't get to them. this is where you get to befriend to the salmon. Gather some up and offer them to the salmon. If the salmon comes close enough that you can beat it by hand, go ahead. If they keep a little bit of a distance, make sure they can see it, and you can gently toss a few hazelnuts. Continue to work until we have 2 inches on this section. Don't forget to check every once in a while and see how far you've come. I've done 6 rows, and I am at, when you're measuring, don't measure what's on the needle. Put your 0 mark right, like sticking my nail in there and sticking it under the needle. So I'm right at about the 1 inch mark. So when you get to the magical 2 inch mark or so, you can see mine is slightly short, but I won't be able to get enough rows in there because I'm already on my right side. And I want to start the next color, which is going to be, for me, a deep blue. I want to start it on what's going to be my knit side. So I'm going to stop here, measure out 5 or 6 inches, and cut my yarn. Go back to the salmon. Thank the salmon for any help or wisdom they shared. Ask if you can return at any time to visit. And now you can show them your work. Tell them why you chose the color you did, what it means to you. And now we're going to return back. With thanks to the spirits of place, you're going to head a few steps back to the 9 stones, and you're going to cross back to your side of the stream. The 9th stone, and the 8th, and the 7th, and the 6th. Here you are on the 5th stone in the middle. Once again, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. And step off onto the bank of our side, the mundane side of this particular little stream. You can wave a farewell to the salmon as it leaps one more time. Take 3 deep breaths and return to the mundane, grounded once again. If you feel you're a little dizzy from having been on the other side for quite a while, try eating something grounding, like I like dark chocolate and nuts, maybe a hazelnut or 2. All right, see you soon, and we'll add the next piece to our bag. To the greenwood, to the greenwood, to the greenwood, to